I have always wanted to say this. This call is being recorded. Welcome, everyone. This is the Telarus Tuesday call for December 4th, 2018. This is it. The final month begins of a record setting year. I'm Doug Miller, the voice of Telarus, cleverly disguised as a responsible adult, welcoming you to our Tuesday call and inviting you to please log into our video feed for all of today's valuable information. If you happened to miss last week's Telarus Tuesday call, we were joined by Jeff Graham, Channel Account Manager with Jive Communications, part of Log Me In. Jeff discussed what qualifies partners to become their clients' trusted advisor for voice over IP services. He explained how to expand your reach, target new verticals, and what the Jive channel team can do to help increase partner close rates and widen revenue streams. Jeff Graham from Jive Communications, last week's recorded Tuesday call, is now available in your Telarus partner back office. On today's call, I'll be joined by Robert Senatore. He is the president of Data2Go Wireless. Imagine a wireless provider offering 4 carriers, 1 platform, and 1 bill. That is Data2Go Wireless, a network utilizing all Tier 1 U.S. mobile network operators, flexibility of choice without the complexity, all managed via the Apogee turnkey cloud MVNE platform. Today's focus will be on the Data Pro 2Go wireless LTE internet failover, offering your clients the ability to create highly redundant, highly reliable failover internet connections. Every business needs it because connection is the new currency. It's Robert Senatore with Data2Go Wireless. That presentation is coming up in just minutes. Here is first a quick scheduling change. Part 4 of the exclusive 4-session series of Telarus Contact Center and Unified Communication Training. It was originally scheduled for this coming Monday. That has been rescheduled. It's pushed out 2 weeks to Monday, December 17th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Apparently, the original date conflicted with the 168th birthday of Melville Dewey, founder of the Dewey Decimal System. That's true. You can look it up in a card catalog at your library. Anyway, we'll remind you about that again next week, but in the meantime, you can listen to the recordings of parts 1 through 3 of Telarus Contact Center and Unified Communication Training via the links in your Telarus partner back office. Also want to remind you that Telarus President's Club qualification is underway for the trip of a lifetime to Havana, Cuba, aboard the Azamara Club cruise line. That happens this coming March. We have some terrific activities planned for this event. Most notably, this will be my favorite, a classic American car tour, which will showcase the island, the people, and allow our partners to experience the culture firsthand. That Chevy that you see right there on the screen, that's the first car I ever drove. Not that one, but it was a gray and white one, just like that. I love that car. There are so many ways to qualify, either with Telarus directly or by qualifying with one of the suppliers shown on your screen. Today, we're very excited to announce that our friends at Office Depot have now created a 1.5x accelerator to help Telarus partners qualify for this amazing trip. Now, between November 15th and December 31st, all Office Depot sales will count 1.5x of the sold MRR toward President's qualification. So you get a $3,000 MRR deal. That counts as $4,500 in MRR toward President's Club qualification. Office Depot delivers a suite of best-in-breed managed solutions to small to medium business customers. There's a lot more details online at the address indicated on your screen, or you can call our Telarus partner hotline at 877-346-3232 for information. You got one more month left to qualify. You can cruise to Havana with the Telarus President's Club. The race to the finish line is on. We've also got some exciting regional events going on this week, and we hope you'll be able to join us for one close to you. Tomorrow, Wednesday, December 5th, in Minneapolis, Minnesota, Telarus is hosting a holiday party, a combination partner appreciation event and tech talk. It's sponsored by Five9 and CloudGenix. From 3 until 7 p.m. Central Time, we are at Pinstripes in Edina. See these technology leaders' demos, you'll hear their insights and partner success stories, food, drinks, bowling, and bocce to follow. Tomorrow in Minneapolis, join us for some holiday cheer. And also tomorrow, Wednesday morning, in Burlington, Massachusetts, at the Sprint offices, Telarus is conducting our 4-hour Internet of Things and Mobility Boot Camp certification training. We're going to begin at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. This event is sponsored by Sprint, along with Cyber Reef Solutions, Sierra Wireless, and Wireless Analytics. This will be a deep dive event to revolutionize the way you make money and learn all that Telarus can assist you with in the IoT and mobility worlds. See you tomorrow morning in Burlington for this powerful boot camp training. And then tomorrow evening, still Wednesday, from 5 until 8 p.m., and still in Burlington, you can join us for an open house holiday party for all of our New England partners. We'll be at Tavern in the Square with Telarus and many of our top suppliers. There'll be an open bar and appetizers in a comfortable, heated, closed-in patio room, and we hope you'll consider bringing a donation for Toys for Tots at that event. And then on Thursday, December 6th, from 3 until 5:30 p.m. Central Time, we will be at Seasons 52 in Houston for a Tech Talk event with West Corporation. And this Tech Talk event is focused on growing revenue in the unified communications and UCaaS space. West is a leader in UCaaS and contact center, and in fact, they're the world's largest provider of conferencing. Cocktails and appetizers are provided, so join us for some outstanding training on Thursday. You can see the full schedule with all of our events or register or RSVP at Telarus.com events for any of our upcoming opportunities. Now, I did leave one off the list until now, and I did it on purpose, Joe Galuzzi and Tina Franke, because this one is so big, it's going to take up 2 days. Wednesday evening in New York City, from 6 until 9 p.m. Eastern, Telarus and many of our suppliers are hosting a huge holiday party at American Whiskey on 30th Street. Please join us and celebrate our partner successes from 2018. It'll be a terrific party, but it's just a warm-up for the next morning's Thursday Telarus Innovation Conference. Go ahead and change that slide, Steph. It's actually our final Telarus Innovation Conference of 2018, so we've planned a big one in the Big Apple. We'll gather at 8 a.m. Eastern Time and spend the day at the Loeb Boathouse Central Park, along with 12 of our Telarus suppliers, all shown there on your screen. The Telarus Innovation Conferences focus on overcoming the real-world challenges of establishing a recurring revenue practice across multiple technologies. The best part, you will successfully learn how to use Telarus exclusive tools and resources to grow your business. And of course, there are prizes and happy hour at the event's conclusion. So join us in New York Wednesday night and Thursday for the Telarus Innovation Conference. All right, it's time for our weekly partner sales recognition. Some shout outs and kudos to 3 of our high performing partners who've put up some of the top wins of the past weeks. In this week's 3rd position, Telarus congratulates the tremendous team at Invite Networks here in Salt Lake City. The Invite Networks team closed an absolutely phenomenal sale of fiber Ethernet services from CenturyLink to a client in the financial services industry. Now, CenturyLink and Level 3 have combined, providing expanded capabilities, network reach, and a renewed commitment to outstanding customer service, allowing clients to work more efficiently from virtually anywhere in the world. Invite Networks is an end-to-end, circuit-to-endpoint, no-nonsense, best-of-breed solutions provider. Real solutions founded by engineers and run by engineers. Invite Networks is awesome as a service. Congratulations to the team at Invite Networks on this fantastic CenturyLink sale. And in this week's 2nd position, Telarus congratulates our friend Ken Romero. He's the owner of Evolve Networks with an X. Also here in Salt Lake City, Utah, Evolve Networks posted a large sale of fiber Ethernet services, also from CenturyLink, to a client to a large local client. CenturyLink provides the improved operational efficiencies that allow clients to re-engineer their business processes around their customers, harnessing advanced technology in combination with managed services to create new opportunities. Ken Romero and Evolved Networks are having incredible success this year. He was just here in our office this week. And this sale is just one example of the work that they're doing. Congratulations, Ken Romero and Evolved Networks, on this terrific CenturyLink sale. And in this week's top position, Telarus congratulates Brett Hickenlooper. He's the president and all of the team over at Sumo Communications here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Yep, Sumo is the one with the fantastic LinkedIn posts and the marketing featuring that world-traveling Sumo baseball cap. I love that feature. Sumo closed an absolutely over-the-top sale of contact center services from Nice in Contact to a client in the retailing industry. Nice in Contact allows your clients to deliver exceptional contact center customer experience with a cloud market leader. Sumo is their client's advocate for robust IT infrastructure solutions, and they deliver carrier-neutral, seamless strategies, implementation, and support around the globe. Congratulations, Brett Hickenlooper and all the team over at Sumo Communications on this outstanding Nice in Contact win. It is our top Telarus sale of the week. We thank all of our partners for trusting Telarus with your business in this record-setting year. Telarus is built for you. Let's take a quick look at this week's training calendar with 3 excellent opportunities being featured on today's call as Telarus and our suppliers help build your business with valuable information you need to know. First up, tomorrow, Wednesday, December 5th, beginning at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, plan to join Call Tower as they present a special preview of what's coming for Microsoft, Cisco, and CT Cloud UCaaS solutions in 2019. Call Tower knows UCaaS, and they also provide contact center, conferencing, productivity, and networking solutions as well. You know, when this decade began, our industry was dominated by the desk phone, but it was about to be reinvented. It was a transformational shift, and in today's business, communication tools are evolving into tailor-made solutions to fit a dynamic and changing work style. Call Tower Solution Engineers will help you understand what's here and what's coming at this special preview webinar. It happens tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. The details and registration links for this and for many other live and recorded learning opportunities are all in your Telarus partner back office at agent.telarus.com. Speaking of which, today we're also going to feature 2 of our recently launched new Telarus suppliers and invite you to check out their recorded launch and training presentations from just a few months back. First, from July 12th, our new Telarus partnership was launched with Expedient, a leading provider of data center and managed data network services. Expedient specializes in cloud, colocation, and connectivity. They can provide entire network failover at the touch of a button, and scalability, agility, and connectivity across clouds. Expedient offers 11 data centers in 7 cities with more than 300,000 square feet, providing managed hosting services including backups, compliance, and security. That recording of Expedient's July 12th official launch and training call is available for your review in our Telarus partner back office. And then also from August 23rd, our new Telarus partnership was launched with HTG 360, a full-service IT and security firm, helping enterprise organizations uncover technology barriers to business growth. HTG 360 addresses not only the technology transformation, but also the impact of new technology on an organization through auditing, assessing, consulting, design, sourcing, implementation, repair, and 24/7 managed services. You can hear that recording of HTG 360's August 23rd launch and training call by going to your Telarus partner back office. Always walk through life as if you have something new to learn, and you will. Each week, we pass along some of the best available spiffs offered to our Telarus partners as well for sales of popular products from our suppliers. And here are this week's featured offerings. First, Granite is offering a 2x MRC bonus on their nationwide Ethernet over fiber solutions. Granite is a Tier 1 carrier network with speeds up to a gig. Granite provides the router, the installation, and the monitoring, and their exclusive concierge customer service. It's one provider, one invoice, one support team, and 2x MRR bonuses on Granite nationwide Ethernet over fiber. 36-month term is required. Granite, simple solutions for evolving networks. And second, SpectroTel helps you pile up the dollars when you rake up the sales. Rake in the opportunities by offering clients a cloud PBX value package with more than 40 premium features through one of SpectroTel's best-in-class platforms. You'll earn spiffs of $75 on 3-year term seat sales and $100 spiffs on 5-year term seat sales. Carrier, platform, and equipment agnostic, SpectroTel offers optimized solutions. And third, NetFortris believes that champions are made in the fourth quarter. And when you sell NetFortris hosted voice deals, you're going to score big. You'll earn 4x MRC when you bring in new hosted voice deals. NetFortris is providing more resources to their channel partner program than ever before. And with this tremendous spiff, you're going to get even greater incentive to work with the NetFortris channel team. 4x MRC spiffs for hosted voice sales from NetFortris. And we also want to remind you, it's not on the screen, but our Comcast Business Telarus fourth quarter blitz is still going on. Simply by registering and selling Comcast Business products, you can earn entries into a drawing for tickets to the NFL's championship game in February, including airfare, hotel, and tickets for you and a guest. You know, this isn't by revenue. This is by number of entries earned from selling Comcast products. The more you sell, the more you bundle, the more entries you can earn. So everyone can get in on this one. Contact your Telarus Partner Support Manager for details. Maybe you'll be headed to Atlanta in February. More standings and results coming up on this one next week on the Telarus Tuesday call. These and many more fantastic deals from our suppliers, they're all found at promo.telarus.com. Well, as I mentioned earlier, I am very happy today to be joined on our call by Robert Senatore. He's the president of Data2Go Wireless. They're a wireless provider offering 4 carriers with one platform and just one bill. That's Data2Go Wireless. They're a network utilizing all Tier 1 U.S. mobile network operators. They offer flexibility of choice without the complexity often involved. It's all managed via the Apogee Turnkey Cloud MVNE platform, and our focus today is going to be on the Data Pro to Go wireless LTE Internet failover, offering your clients the ability to create highly redundant and highly reliable failover Internet connections. Robert, glad to have you back. Welcome to our Tuesday call. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Doug. Thank you very much. First, I'm going to definitely give you a plug because the national radio voice that you have is unlike anything I've ever seen. You're at the Casey Kasem level. May he rest in peace.
And the countdown continues. There you go.
Exactly.
Hey, glad to have you on the call today. Data2Go Wireless has a phenomenal offering for our partners and for their clients. And today I think we're talking redundancy and all of the things that Data2Go Wireless can do to help partners do that. And this is a conversation that really should be had with every business, every client, every time, correct?
Yes, it is. We absolutely view this as a horizontal sale. So no matter what vertical market your customer's in, there's a need for that secondary, always-on connection, constant connectivity, insurance for your business. There's a lot of different cute ways to say it, but the customers really need secondary connectivity because of the applications and the way that everything is out in the cloud today. Am I running with it now, Doug?
Let's go ahead and jump right in.
All right, excellent. First, I just want to thank the Telarus team. You guys have been unbelievable partners to us for the last few years. I also want to point out the relationship that we have with the mobility folks at with Tiffany, Lori, and company has been really good, and they're an unbelievable resource to the agents as well. We know that mobility is kind of I'm not going to say it's a brand new thing, but it's a newer thing that sometimes the agents need a little guidance to get up to speed on. And you guys can lean on Tiffany for that because she knows all of it. So I just wanted to let you know about that as well. And to get into our presentation today, I'm going to break it up. We have 15, 20 minutes here, so I'm going to break it up in a couple different parts. Speak first about our elevator pitch, basically, so you guys can have an understanding of, what our real core competency is and what our differentiator is in the market. And then we'll talk a little bit about some of the examples of some of the IoT solutions that we've done for customers to help you guys kind of connect to it and think about your base of business and think about where there may be a fit for us to be able to work together. Then we'll get into the Data Pro to Go product, which, as Doug eloquently is a carrier agnostic, fully bundled solution for your customers to have always on connectivity. And then we'll round it out at the end about some of the qualifying questions and easy ways that you guys can actually go get a quote. Estefania, oh, perfect, first slide. So our elevator pitch, guys, we're a national end-to-end data service provider, and we really focus on the IoT markets and the wireless network service markets. And special sauce is that we've built a platform as a service business that provides wireless connectivity, enables customers and the agent channel to monetize wireless services via the cloud-based connectivity platform that we've built from the ground up. So what does this mean? What this really means is that we've built the platform and we've integrated, Doug was correct, it was 4 carriers, and most recently we've actually integrated US Cellular as well. So we're going to have to change our marketing material, Doug, to 5, 1 platform, 1 bill. And
5, count them 5.
Yes, sir. So one of the reasons we're able to do that is the way that we've built our platform in a modular fashion. So it's very easy for us to add on carriers. And one of our goals and on our roadmap is to go into Canada and South America and Europe next. So that should be coming down in 2019. So what we do is the platform is definitely built for IoT connectivity. But what we're going to do today is, more on the focus on more on the Data Pro to Go failover product. So let's just go to the next slide and let's talk about some of these high-level IoT applications, please, Estefania. The reason I want to go through these slides with everybody in the audience is to kind of open up your minds a little bit about what's in your customer base today and who has the need for wireless connectivity. And really, at the most general level, it's to be able to transmit important data from the field back to an office where companies can make good decisions in their business and really enable businesses as well. This Spinway deal is a very good example. If you look at the picture on the right, there is a credit card machine that actually takes payment from the customers that are renting the bikes and also unlocks the bicycles upon payment transaction. So we worked with Spinway and we helped them get a device inside the box there to allow them to run credit cards and be able to move forward on gaining more information of where the bikes are used and how many of them are being rented, et cetera, et cetera. So this is something that we rolled out across the country with them, and it's a really basic solution, guys. I mean, what do? We provided them a piece of a gateway router and provided them transport so they can bring data from the field back to an office where they can make decisions. So it helps them better manage assets and allows the customer, Spinway, to mitigate risk by collecting payment at the point of sale. So let's go to the next one, please. Next one is a customer of ours that manages solar systems for commercial clients. And they needed to be able to gain data and get information from the panels, health checks, have access to health checks, and also be notified about alarms and things wrong. So we consult with the customer, find out more about their business, and provided them with a very similar solution to what we did with Spinway. It's getting them the hardware, the SIMs, create a custom data plan for them. And just to stop for a second, one of the reasons why we're able to create data plans ourselves is because we've built our own OSS, BSS, our own billing system that allows us to do that. So we're not buying from the carrier for X and selling it for Y. We're buying from the carrier wholesale, and then we're creating a plan that really fits the customer's application. So what we were able to do was show the customer an ROI equation of the remote management versus a truck roll that has a high human labor cost. So what we really did here was we lowered the total cost of ownership for the solution and increased the profits for the company. Next slide, please. This one's kind of unique. So this customer is an industrial odor management, and they provide odor challenge solutions for dumps, farms, and food processors. So again, very similar, very high level solution for the customer. We asked them about some of the things that they needed to do, and we were able to connect them with a gateway product and also put a custom plan together. So again, they have access to their devices in the field. So I just wanted to roll through these real quick. There's one that we can go to now. Thank you. And this is the failover use case, so it's a good segue into the failover product. So those of you out in Texas, the largest farm organization, insurance company based out of Texas, we teamed up with the Telarus folks who sell a great SD-WAN product. And there were a couple of different options of what we did. We'll get into this in a couple of slides, but wireless is primary in remote locations where wireline was not available. So just keep in mind that our product can be used as primary service and also used as a failover to an existing wireline circuit. So what we did here was we worked closely with the Telarus folks. So if you guys have, a lot of times we're an over-the-top sale, guys. So if you have an SD-WAN provider that you're in with, we're a good fit to work with them to be able to work hand in hand to deliver the customer a full solution. We did the same thing here, guys. Hardware SIMs, custom data plans, primary use, and failover, and basically completed the SD-WAN solution for the customer. So now we'll get into the good stuff where we think, really the meat of the call here, guys. It's Data Pro to Go is the name of the product. And Data to Go Wireless is the company, obviously. And the Data Pro product is an agnostic, end-to-end, bundled 4G LTE wireless solution that's used in a couple of ways. It can be used as primary connectivity, as we mentioned a few minutes ago, mostly for business failover continuity and out-of-band management. And then it can also be used for those customers that you have that are implementing SD-WAN as a replacement to MPLS. So primary connectivity, a bunch of different reasons why we need it, mostly because you can't get a wireline connection out location. That can also be used. We've seen a big pickup in video surveillance as well into remote areas where you can't get a wireline or it's really cost prohibitive to get a wireline connection out there. And then and next, also on the primary side, we live in Florida, guys. So when the hurricanes come through, our phones ring off the hook because the wireline services go down. But for some reason, most of the time anyway, unless the disaster is horrible, the cell phones stay up, so the networks are staying up. So when that happens, we're actually shipping overnighting boxes, or customers are coming to our office to pick up devices to be back in business that same day. So as fast as we can get a device out there, that puts the customer back in business the same way. Then secondly, business failover. It keeps the critical applications moving. And I'm not going to go into the bullet points here because I think it's better illustrated on the next slide. If we can flip there, please. Thank you. Yeah, is real easy to look at and see who needs a failover solution, guys. Anybody in the retail space using payment transaction, whether it's credit card, gift cards, or Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, etc. The way that the rules have changed with the banks, you need to get an authorization out in the cloud in order to be able to get a full approval for a credit card transaction. So those of you that have customers in the retail space, they've all felt this pain. So the sale in my eyes to be able to go out to the retail market and say, hey, what happens when your internet goes down? And they've all felt that pain. That's tied to revenue. So revenue loss is the thing that's really in front of the face of the customer because they feel it. It's right in front of them. However, voice over IP connectivity / UCaaS and cloud-based applications actually create a larger portion of the loss versus the actual revenue, but the customers resonate with what's right in front of them. But voice over IP, inbound and outbound phone calls, access to cloud-based applications like Salesforce, email. No one has a server in their office anymore. It's all Outlook 365, or really any third-party app for that nature is extremely important to employee productivity. So if you look out there, IDC, Cisco, Infonetics, there's a bunch of different companies on the research side that have put numbers out there, and full of things that go across all of them. A, it's a gigantic number. The amount of loss is huge. And B, the employee productivity side is actually a deeper loss than what the revenue side. So it's really a 25-75 split. So I'm pointing this out because I think it's important to let the customers know, hey, what happens when you can't take revenue on credit cards? But it's also important to let them know that the bigger loss, how much are you paying employees? And when they can't access the internet, what happens at that point? You're wasting money and people are sitting on their hands. So let's go to the next slide, please. Now we'll go through this one real quick, guys. I just want to point out here that we offer the full suite of products from PepLink. We have PepLink certified engineers on staff and PepLink certified salespeople on staff as well. But what I'd like to point out to you guys, based upon some of the answers that we would get back from you when you question your customer on some of the qualifying questions, that really dictates which device we put in front of the customer. But keep in mind that the top left device is a Max BR1 Mini. It's a single radio device, but it has dual SIM. So our default configuration is to activate SIM slot 1 with the best carrier in the area, and then SIM slot 2 would be the second best carrier in the area that would be in a standby status. And it's also important we actually do a lookup, guys, on the proximity from the carrier tower to the service location. So we're guaranteeing the customer that it could be any one of the 5 carriers, and we're going to put them on the best carrier in SIM slot 1. The second thing I'll mention here real quick is the Max BR1, also single radio dual SIM. That's the larger device that's on the top right. And that's used, I'm not going to get too technical on the call here, guys, but that's used when the customer does not have a dual WAN router. From the Mini, the customer, we're basically hanging off the edge of the customer's network, and the Max BR1 is where the customer's primary connection, cable modem, DSL, whatever it may be, is going to plug into the WAN port, and we become the edge router for the customer's network. Then there's a handful of you guys on the call that we're already doing work with too, and we've had those 201 level classes. Just know that there's HD2s, HD4s, other types of PepLink devices that the cellular radio, which means more than one carrier can speak at the same time and transmit data at the same time. So let's flip to the next slide, please. Okay, this is a quick slide that talks about our OpEx model on the right side and on the left side of the primary plan. So if you guys are ordering a primary wireline connection to a customer location, we find out that there's construction involved, we can accelerate the revenue. So if you guys are depending on that wireline connection to sell UCaaS into the customer, then we can accelerate that revenue for you guys by getting a device out there, putting it on a high usage plan, 10, 25, 50, or even 100 gig. And then once that primary circuit comes in, we can back down the plan to the failover. Now on the right side, this is OpEx solution where the customer is only paying a $50 upfront fee, so they're not paying for the hardware up front, and we're charging $59.95 per month on a 3-year term that includes the entire bundle. It includes the hardware device, it includes 1 gig per month, it includes the SIM cards, and also we're giving them access to as well, so they can manage the devices too. Data overage is still $95 per gig on these plans as well. Next slide, please. Now we'll talk a little bit more real quickly about some of the features that are available as well. The two most important features that we listed out here, public static IP. Those are some of the beginning that we definitely want to ask the customer, do they have public static IPs today? What kind of applications are they running? Sometimes point of sale machines need public static IP. DVs need it for security systems. So we ask those questions up front, and we can absolutely provision a public static IP available on Verizon, AT&T, and Sprint today. The other really important feature, guys, that's out there, We're going to call it 4.5G. It's not 5G, but it's really not 4G either. It's LTE advanced. And that's driven by the chipset that's inside the box. So it's a different embedded module. And just to give you guys an example of what LTE advanced can do for the customers, those of you that have customers that have large fiber connections and they're over 100 meg per second, for them to fall back to a standard LTE device and get 10 to 15 meg on the download is going to be a little bit tough for them to swallow. So there's an LTE advanced chipset out there that can boost the download speeds from 10 to 15 all the way right around the 50 to 60 meg per second level. That's going to be more for a customer to be able to deal with when they're coming off a 100 meg per second or 200 meg per second circuit. So just know that the LTE advanced devices are available in each one of these PepLink solutions. So usually the average markup between a standard LTE device and an LTE advanced is about $100 difference in the chipset. Next slide, please. Great. So now we talked about features. Now we'll talk about the accessories. It's not our first rodeo here, guys. We've been doing this for a while, so we've seen everything that can possibly happen. While it's very low single digits where we have to upgrade because we do that research at the beginning of who's going to be the best carrier, sometimes the things that we don't know about, we're only as good as the information that we receive. So if we see that AT&T or Verizon is only 0.2 miles away from the customer's location, we should be able to get good signal. But some of the things that are not given to us at that time, topography of the land and building construction. So we don't know what the building is built out of. We don't know where they have their phone closet or their IT closet or their IT rack. So sometimes we have to go a little bit further down the road to be able to make a good connection for the customer. And we have a three-step process. It's utilizing high-gain antennas with a 9-foot cord and a magnetic mount, so we can get something in the phone room that doesn't get good wireless signal. We can also use a PoE injector, which allows the customer to have power to a device, but moving the device to an area where there's not an outlet, for instance, up in the ceiling tiles. And then third, if the first two are not working for us, we use a standard signal booster, but that's really a last resort because then the customer is basically paying for two different devices that, around the $250 or $300 level. Okay, let's go to the next one, please. Great. So I thought it was important, and working with Tiffany, she suggested that it would make sense for us to put some questions up there just so you can see some of the things that we ask the customer when we're on the phone with them from a pre-sales perspective. How many people are in the organization that use an internet connection? How many workstations are in use at the location? Are there VoIP and UCAS phones that need to be up? If so, how many? Are you guys using a POS terminal? It's also important to know what kind of third-party applications are in use. Are there any security cameras? That's going to drive us to the public static IP questioning. Is there a DVR? And then ask the straight question, is there public static IP needed? And also general question, hey, what's the general signal strength on employee phones at the location? So these are just some of the basic questions that we answered to make sure that we can configure the device correctly and the best way and most efficiently for the customer. So the better we get the questions answered up front, the better we're going to be able to have a positive experience for that end user customer. Next slide, please. We've made it easy to generate quotes and agreements for the customer. At the top, the link is there. It's datatoGoWireless.com/agent quote request. On the left side, this picture here, you see agent quote request line right here. It's at the bottom left of our webpage at datatoGoWireless.com, so real easy to find. And then on the right side, that's the screen that actually pops up. And the agent ID would be the master agent ID for Telarus. You can see we have it listed on top, 100118. And then we're asking on this form for important information that we need in order to be able to generate a quote for your customer. We're going to send it to you, the agent. This is your customer, so we send it to you to forward to the customer. And then once we get it back, we'll run with it from there. and that was a 15-minute race there. The one last thing I did want to mention, we've been doing so well with Telarus. We felt the need and a definite need for us to bring on another resource. And this is probably a good time for me to do a quick introduction to Victoria Kleinman. She comes to us from TPX, Evolve IP, and some other service providers. So she's got a real wealth of experience in the channel, in the market, and she is our national channel manager, and she was brought on to assist the Telarus agents to get our products into their customers.
Thanks, Rob. I appreciate that. There were a bunch of Q&A I already saw on here. I know we're going up on that next topic.
Okay.
A bunch of good questions about our OpEx bundling and how we do it, and we pool the gig per site and the pricing. So there was a lot of questions about that I saw in the chat.
Okay, great. Doug, do you want to line those up for us?
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at them. I think our partners are literally made of questions today. We've had a lot of really good submissions, questions, and comments coming in on our chat window. You're welcome to continue submitting those. We'll go ahead and dive into these. And Victoria, welcome. That's going to be great to have you associated with Data2Go Wireless as well. Certainly a friend of the channel, and many of us know her, so that's just wonderful news. Yeah, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about pricing for a second. The first questions came in from Marco Wind, one of our partners. He was talking about any sort of bundled pricing available, say for 100G, 500G, and can bundles be pooled, for example, between sites? And third question, is video streaming allowed, or is it like IoT and smaller data backup circuits, more sweet spot versus larger BW consumption? It's a lot of questions. You want to try to take those on as a group or break them out?
We'll take them one at a time here, Doug. So I'm looking at the first one actually from Marco. Marco, thanks for the question. So do we offer 100 gig, 500 gig bundles? So the answer is yes. At the beginning of the call, I did mention that, you know, we own our own billing system. So we have the ability to price to the application. And we actually have built a 500 gig bundle together in conjunction with an HD4 with 4 cellular radios for a national marketing company that was going to a show, and they wanted to bring their own connectivity. So what we basically did there is we put them on 4 AT&T SIM cards across 4 different cellular radios. We put 125 gig on each one of the SIM cards, and we pooled it together for the customer, essentially giving them a 500 gig bundle. So staying on that pooling idea, we will pool for the customers that have multi-sites, and we also pool cross-carrier. So I'm glad you brought the question up, Marco. It's to give you guys more information. So if you guys have a 100-site customer across a customer with 100 sites across the country, doesn't matter which carrier we have to put them on. If we're doing the $59.95 1 gig bundle program, they're going to get 100 gig across their network. So it doesn't matter which carrier they're on, they're going to have 100 gig to work with, which the benefit to the customer is pretty obvious, guys. It's basically you're mitigating risk. So the chances that the customer to have overage at that point is very, very slim. So you can pool bundles between sites. Is video streaming allowed? Yes, we actually, these devices are wide open. We do suggest, based upon how the customer needs to use it, that we lock the box down. So we don't want people coming in and utilizing the Wi-Fi. We have a lot of expertise in how to lock down the boxes correctly to mitigate risks, user customer as well. Nobody wins when the customer gets a $1,500 bill and doesn't expect it. So the agent's upset, Telarus is upset, the customer's upset, and we're upset as well, having to have to deal with that. So we learned the hard way that it's very important to lock down the box. But if we know that the customer is going to do video streaming, one of the things that we would do is, obviously it's going to be open where they could do it. We'll make sure it's working for them, and we'll put some threshold alerts in place so the customer how much data they're using.
Robert, let's talk just a little bit more about equipment. Marco followed up that original set of questions with one about product hardware. Mentioned that the product hardware offering and the license offerings could be made a little bit simpler. You went into some of that detail, and it looked actually fairly easily presented to me. But let's talk just a little bit more about equipment. And there was also a question from one of our other partners on the Q&A side that asked if there were extra costs for the external antenna or signal booster installation. So cost per site on that type of installation as well. Let's talk equipment.
Okay, great. All right, so equipment, guys. Listen, we're taking something that's complex and we're trying to simplify it as much as we can. So there's a point where we can oversimplify it and it doesn't help us. So we need to kind of keep it at a level that we're making sure that we ask the right question to have the correct configuration, because that's really tied to the customer experience. So there's only so much we can do to kind of simplify that message. Just know that you have a strong support team here. We'll get on the phone with you guys to speak with the customer to ask the questions, or the agent. You guys can actually ask the customer the questions, but there is a certain level of understanding that we need to have about the customer's existing infrastructure before we can recommend a device. As far as simplifying it, I think we can kind of simplify it in really two different buckets at the high point, which is, does the customer have a dual WAN connection at the edge of their network, or do they not? That's really the first thing that dictates what device that we're going to have to put in front of the customer, whether it's going to be a mini that hangs off the customer's network or a Max BR1 that will be part of the customer's edge network.
And Mike Sullivan followed. Yes. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to ask you to help me stay on task here.
You're doing great. Michael Sullivan followed that up, asking if the 4 devices that we saw on the slide that you'd presented are the full offering. Are there any other devices, either for specialty applications or for particular types of use, that might also be available, and how could they find out about those?
That is a great question. Thank you for that. So we do offer those products, and there's definitely a 201 and 301 level class. And if you guys want to hear, anybody that wants to hear more about it, let's set up a call. We'd be more than happy to go through the entire deck of the Peplink products and where they fit into your customer base. But one comment, the answer is yes, right? So one of the things that we've also had a pretty good uptick are devices that are mobile inside first responders, police car, ambulances. It's very important for them to always have a connection. So there are devices called Max Transits that are dual cellular radio, where we could put dual carriers in an active configuration, which is different than what we do for the failover, because they always need to be on. So that's just an example of some of the specialized hardware products that are available based upon the application need that's out there in the field.
One of our partners, Zachary Schechter, back east, is mentioning security cameras and has a few questions about that. Is the offering viable for cloud storage or for folks with an on-site DVR who might use you for remote viewing? And he mentions that cloud storage options can run, 3 gig in an hour per camera. Maybe a terabyte a month for a few cameras on site. It's awfully cost prohibitive for most LTE. How do you recommend this sort of a video surveillance option using data to go wireless for clients? Best way to approach that.
The best way to approach that is to ask the customer how much data do they think they're pushing, because a lot of times customers have empirical data and they have an idea. If customers do not have an idea, what we do is we have to work very closely with the customer at the beginning so they can understand how much data they're using. So staying in front of the customer at the beginning for at least the first couple of months and showing them, hey, based upon how many times you're uploading the video per day, you're driving X as an average for each one of these sessions. So we can actually get reporting information, give it back to the customer, work with them. It's really about working with the customer if the customer doesn't have the info. For us to say, yeah, you're going to pass this much this much data and this is what it's going to cost you. It's very hard for us to do that at the beginning, that empirical data. So we would want to work closely with the customer, and then maybe we can add some value by making up coming up with some ideas of, Mr. Customer, do you really need to upload a video every 15 minutes? Or is there a way that we can stretch it out and do it 3 or 4 times a day? Is there a way that we maybe can compress the data to make it lower usage as well? So there's different things that we've seen that we've been able to help customers lower the amount of usage, but still achieve what they're trying to do with the application.
On the features slide that we looked at, Robert, you talked about the static IP being available. Is it just a single static IP? Zachary's also asking whether or not multiple IP addresses could be allowed per device.
Well, that's a great question from Zachary. But the quick answer is every device or each cellular radio can only have one public static IP. So if a customer needs more than one public static IP, they would need to move to a dual radio device in order to be able to have more than one static IP working at a time.
I did not know
that. That comes from the carriers. I know everybody's used to buying cable modems. I mean, even for my office here, my Comcast cable modem, I bought a pack of 20 IP addresses with it, but we don't have that availability on the wireless world.
John Arnold chimes in as well. Great question. Are the IPs truly static, or are they simply persistent, as we call them?
That's a question. I think we may have David Bruce on the phone here with us. He's our VP of Technology. I think he'd be better suited to answer the question. Dave, are you on with us? Do we have Dave?
I told him to.
He may be.
Okay.
He may be
John,
muted. If we can't get him, we'll come back to it, but we can take it after as well.
John, I promise to get back with you with the technical answer on the static IPs.
Very good. Ralph Garcia puts a question on here. He asks, in a scenario where the signal strength is now the strongest, would a cell phone signal booster help increase that signal? Has this ever been implemented as part of a configuration?
Yes, it has.
Oh, I'm sorry, where it's not the strongest.
Yes, it has been. Again, we actually check on the back end and look and see if we see that the closest tower to a service address is going to be a mile away, we know, or a mile or more, we know that we're going to need more power to be able to make a good connection. And keep in mind, guys, that the signal strength and the signal quality is really tied to that customer experience, because the better the quality and the strength of the signal, the better throughput the device is going to work for the customer. So it's very important that we look at all that stuff. And we've seen enough at this point after selling this for a couple of years that we know what that break off is in the distance between the tower and the service address of where we're going to need the signal booster up front.
So whether it's for a primary or for a failover offering, can you speak a little bit to the guarantee and any SLAs that are involved with the service?
Yeah, we've been asked that lately, and when we first launched the product, we didn't put an SLA in place because when we buy wholesale from the carriers, it's really a best effort. So we don't get that from the carriers, so we're passing on the same thing. However, one of the things that we have been doing lately to make the customers feel comfortable, I'm not going to call it an SLA, but if it's something that's really important, I'm sure we can put something together. But just what we've been doing with our customers over the past 6 or 8, and this actually did come from Tiffany at Telarus as well, is that if the customer's not getting a minimum upload and download speed of 3 meg, we'll let them return it to us within 30 days. So we want happy customers. We don't want unhappy customers. So if we get a device out there and it doesn't work, we'll take it back. Keep in mind that there's an asterisk there, right? Because if we see that the tower is only 0.2 miles away, we know that the service is going to be good. So sometimes we have to kind of go a little bit deeper with that. But if the customer is not getting the speeds that they need to be able to run their applications, we're not going to force them to keep something that doesn't work for them.
Do customers typically self-install the equipment, or do you include on-site install as part of the sale?
Great question, and I'm glad that was brought up. And that came from looking here.
Zachary.
guarantee. That came from, thank you, Zachary. So we have found the better we do up front, the less need we have for a professional install. Now, sometimes the agents out there are IT folks. So if you guys want to go install it for the customer, that's great. But the way that we provision, the way we information gather at the beginning, the way that we configure and provision the devices, it's pretty much plug and play. We also have remote access to the device. So when we're looking at it, we know where we know what the signal strength and signal quality is. And we also know where the tower is in relation to where the customer site is. So we know where they would have to move the box closer to the southeast corner, the northwest corner, et cetera, to be able to get a better signal. So we found that the customer doesn't have to pay, another couple of $100 to do a professional install. Maybe it's, 1 out of 200, right? A half of 1% to do something like that. But we basically do that phone support, and we see that we're able to get the devices running for the customer.
I have to ask this question because it intrigues me. Marco Wind is back with this one. Can you bond bandwidth, like taking a few 4G cards at 30 meg and give them 120 meg, like the way T1s are bonded? Does any of that go on in this type of an industry?
It kind of does. So there's a couple of different ways that we can speak about it. The term, we got to be careful with our terms and different things. Bonding is bringing multiple cellular radios together into one port. And we do have the ability to do that. However, it's really a specialized case to be able to have the need to do something like that. What we found, and I'm sorry, the reason why is that it creates a lot of overhead to bond a circuit together, to bond multiple connections together. What we found works actually better is to do load balancing and put applications on one cellular radio and other applications on another. So we found that actually transmits data faster through the network because it doesn't hold as much overhead as bonding a circuit. Those are good 201 and 301 level classes. And Zachary, whenever you have 45 minutes or an hour to get on the phone with us, we'd love to have that conversation with you.
These are great questions today, everybody. I really appreciate it. Let's bring it back down to 101 level for just a second. One more question on the 5, not 4, but 5 now carriers that are used for transport. Talk a little bit about those 5 tier 1 carriers that are being used, why that's such an advantage for partners.
Absolutely. So one of the things that we're doing in our marketing efforts is we're going to take a map and we're going to overlay all 5 of the carrier maps to see what it looks like, to show people what our coverage is in the U.S. To give you a list of those carriers, it's obviously the big boys. It's AT&T, Sprint, T-Mobile, and most recently U.S. Cellular. So we have access totally across the country, and there's no way to have deeper access than what we have since we're connected into our platform with all 5 of the carriers. The benefit to the customer is that is twofold. A, we're guaranteeing them we're going to put them on the best available carrier for each one of their sites. And the other benefit is that they can mix and match carrier multiple sites and be able to still pool the data into one pool for the organization.
Robert, I got to go. We've used the full hour here. We often don't do that, but obviously there's strong interest in all of this. Phenomenal offering, can be used for primary or redundant backup connections, but literally, as you mentioned, every business has need of this. The internet is absolutely critical. You talked about the types of losses that could be incurred by going down. And, statistics show, and you mentioned this on your own website, that an average business will experience 14 hours of internet downtime every year. That can very quickly add up to all sorts of losses and not just financial. These data plans are available on a month-to-month basis for data, and I believe the Data Pro to Go is available either on month-to-month or a term. Is that correct? Term was about $60 a month for a 3-year, or is it $9.95 for month-to-month?
Yeah, well, so thank you, Doug. There's a CapEx model and an OpEx model. CapEx, the customer upfront for the hardware and pays for the monthly plan on a month-to-month, and then the other one is the OpEx model at that $59.95 starting point.
Wow, Great stuff. Phenomenal product, phenomenal offering. Everybody needs to take a look at this for their DR and redundancy issues. Check out more information at data2gowireless.com, data2gowireless.com. Robert's contact information has been on the screen here. And of course, you can always talk with your Telarus Partner Support Manager as well to get a quote started or get more information about Data2Go Wireless. Robert, thanks so much for being on the call today. Terrific information. Can't wait to have you again here soon.
Thank you.
Our thanks to Data2Go Wireless President Robert Senatore for today's outstanding presentation. Terrific information. Thanks for being part of it. And thanks to each of you for your attendance and participation today. If you have suggestions for our call, please email them to marketing@telarus.com. We hope you'll join us this week for our holiday parties and for our Telarus Innovation Conference in New York City on Thursday. We're back here next Tuesday with more. Until then, I'm Doug Miller, the voice of Telarus. Have a great selling week, everyone.